Hello and welcome to Bole the podcast. Thank you for joining us again on a new episode. I'm Zahir Merchant, one of your co-hosts. In today's episode, we welcome Moana Ishak. Prior to her current role as an HR and now a drone compliance officer, Moana Ishak flew the skies, a pilot by training. She had flown for AirAsia from 2006 to 2020 and was one amongst the few female pilots that started with AirAsia at a time where other airlines did not take on female pilots. She once said of herself, and I quote, "I'm more than a deep soul pilot." Today we take you through her story. I'm joined by my friend and co-host Gopal Srinivasan.
Hi Zahir, how are you?
Hi, I'm Moana, and can't wait to share my stories with you all.
Thank you for joining us. If we could start, and if you could just tell us a little bit about your background, which part of Malaysia you were born in, how you were raised, a little bit about your family, and some of the influential factors for you when you were growing up.
All right. Okay. About myself, my background. I was born and raised in Kuala Lumpur. To be exact, I was living in Jalan Duta for 32 years until I moved to Tamantun and now in Damansara Perdana. And we are just a small family. I have two siblings, one elder brother and myself. I'm the youngest one. And my dad, he's a businessman, and he passed away 2017, and my mom is full-time housewife all the way. Yep. And also um we moved to Tamanton like last 2 years. So yeah, all the way, all my schooling and high school, primary school, and everything was all done in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, and as if you ask me who is my influential figure, I would say, I don't know, because during my younger days, I can't say that I have that particular figure. I don't know whether if I'm being a narcissist if I say this, because that figure is actually what I want myself to be in that 20 years. So I work myself that time to say like, okay, that's me, I'm gonna be that. So actually, yeah, it's that is how I see my imaginary figure. So actually I put up a goal there that future Moana influenced me very where I am today. Yeah.
That's amazing. But I mean,
Yeah.
very young, you had already decided that you wanted to go into aviation. And typically, as young girls would go, you had also some sort of interest in military aviation as well. So, what kind of progressed you at 10 years, 12 years of age that you wanted to be a pilot?
Okay. It started like this, Zahir. It's like it started with my hobby. Okay, it started with my hobby where I do scale modeling of military aircraft, where
Mhm.
you fix all those little details on aircraft and all that. You build an aircraft, and then with I just don't know. It's just my natural interest to I'm fascinated by flying machines, aircraft, military aircraft, and why I'm inclined initially towards military, which I think not. I mean, not to say that I'm supporting war. No, okay. So it's like it's the technology. It's the technology
Right.
back then. Yeah, it's a technology, and yeah, maybe I'm fascinated by technology itself. So from there, it grew. My interest grew bigger in aircraft, and then the missile system and the radar system, and it goes to commercial aircraft. And I studied. Yes, I actually studied and read about aircrafts and all that. Yeah, so that is actually how it started. I can remember about 11 11 years old, 10 to 11 years old. Yep. And it developed from there. And my dad used to take me to the air show, because
Mhm.
last 20 years I think it was held in our lovely Subang airport back then. Yeah. So yep. Yeah, that's how it started.
Fantastic. And I mean, you were very clear that it was pilot and nothing else, right, at that stage? Or was there something else which you had in mind which you thought you would develop?
Okay. Initially, I wanted to become a heart surgeon. Yeah, I want to become a surgeon,
Wow.
but then I don't know, because the interest was just it's just died off there, and plus I have this when you get into details, it's naturally it's not stable my hand. So yeah, so the interest died there itself. But until today, I have to tell you that I admire doctors, and I really look up to them, especially surgeons, any medical profession and all that. Yep. So if you were ask me, yes, I'm naturally quite a focused person. Um, when I decided something, I make sure I go straight ahead to my goals and make sure I make sure that I get it. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
through your school years, through the formative years, you then decided, okay, I'm going to be a pilot. And was the interest at civil aviation? Was it in military aviation? Which one was it? And at what stage did you decide that I was going to go down the civil route, or did you try the military route and then go down the civil route?
I did try the military route because I wanted to become a fighter pilot. Why fighter pilot is, again, I said the rush, and of course the movie Top Gun, and also the technologies that evolve around military warfare technology. Yeah, again, I said I'm not inclining into war and all that. It's mainly on the tech stuff. Uh, and then I did go tried to apply for RMAF flight school, but I didn't get through. It's because of my slight minor scoliosis that I have. So because they do have a thorough background check, like from A to Z, they are very very thorough, being a military. So it says that even if you go through it through the training, that thing, through their statistics, it will worsen the scoliosis. Yeah, I have it until now, but of course it's not that obvious. But yeah, so my offer was declined. Then I told myself, actually I was really really heartbroken, because that's my ambition. So it took me some time to, okay, what can I do and all that. So I say, okay, you know what, I think let's be a commercial pilot. So I work my way throughout, find a flying schools around Malaysia. So yeah, I applied to go into Malaysian Flying Academy in Malacca. Yeah.
Zahir, can I
Okay,
jump in just for a sec?
sure.
Mona, can I ask you? I've got two questions, and
Yes.
the first is: are you looking forward to the Top Gun sequel that's coming up next year?
Yes. In
Yeah,
fact, actually, I
yeah, I
think
thought you would.
me and my surrounding, I mean, all the pilots, we are looking forward for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, but my second question is just to get into a little bit more granular detail about the RMAF at the time you applied. Were there already female fighter pilots in Malaysia?
Yes. That time, yes. Yeah, because
Really?
I remembered. There was when there she was an instructor. Okay,
What year was this? Just to give some
Yeah,
context.
yeah. Sorry,
Sorry,
thanks,
what year?
Larry. That's a good. Yeah.
wait, my SPM was 2001. Yeah, 2001. 2001, and that time I remember there's already female pilots in the military. Okay, in the military. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there were female pilots in the military before there were pilots in the civil sector, the
Yes.
commercial sector. Wow, that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how do
Amazing.
you account for that? Why
Well,
do you think that is? Yeah.
um, okay. From what I observe, I hope I don't be like, like all the male will look at me, okay. I think because the commercial wasn't ready to take in female pilot, because maybe their cabin, and they are not used to be in one confined place like cockpit with another female. And I think it's just the whole concept. Yeah, but again, I said, because we are in Asia. Yeah, but that time, 2001, I mean US, Europe, even India, there's already female pilots. But
Yeah.
yeah, being maybe
Okay.
maybe in Asia, we're a bit conservative on that
Right.
part. That
That's really
time.
interesting. Thanks, Zahir. Sorry.
No, no issue. So all right. So then you kind of found out about scoliosis, and unfortunately, you couldn't go through with the military itself. So you then moved to MFA. Maybe you can just share with us a little bit as to how it was training with the MFA, what the challenges were, what a typical day would be, and how you kind of transitioned through this whole process.
Okay, MFA, Malaysian Flying Academy. It's situated in Malacca. All right, I was there from early 2000, right after SPM, about 2002, 2003. Yeah, so um, I have to say it's one of my best memories. Okay,
Nice.
being the only three female pilots, pioneering the aviation sector. Yeah, and then of course everyone, even my classmates are all guys. um I think that I'm fortunate enough to have nice gentlemen around me. um None of them are sexist. Maybe one or two, yeah, or hiddenly, I don't know, but we were treated like really really fairly. And they do not how to say, do not downgrade us. The training went normally, a typical day, yeah, even lunchtime, dinner time, break time are all with them. Our free time, we spend time together, and everything is just like we are. Honestly, I can say it's like more to a brother and sister. I think yeah, me and my the two other girls, we are fortunate enough to have that kind of surroundings with us during that time for the training. And as for the instructor as well, they are really professional, and they never ever treat us differently, like maybe just because she's a girl, treat her like a princess. Oh no, it's totally a fair treatment between the guys and the ladies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And training was what, a 9 to 5 kind of thing? Was it like broken up into academic? Was it broken up into technical, or was it how
All
was a
right.
typical day?
Okay, in flying school, it's like this. It breaks into two phase, which is the practical part and the theory. So the theory part, we call it ground school. Okay,
Hmm.
so we have to sit down for that one first. We have to go through that phase for about a few months and go through several exams. It's called PPL. Then that is private pilot license. Then we're going to our commercial pilot license. Then airline transport pilot license. So all in all, we have to sit for like more than 20 papers. So the classes normally, it's 9 to 6, actually 9 to 6 every weekday. So after we have done the first phase, then we will move on to the flying phase. Flying phase is very flexible. It can start even as early as 6:30 in the morning until sundown, unless we have like you say, unless we have a sortie, you call it duty, for a night flying. Then they will program us after sunset up to midnight. Yeah, that this typically. But yeah, so the ranges is from actually 6:30 up to midnight. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And
Yeah.
training typically takes what, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? What was the entire schedule like before
Okay,
you can get
it's
your private pilot's license as such?
everyone will be surprised when I say this, because everyone thought it's gonna be like 2 years, 3 years. No, it's 15 months to be exact.
Oh,
So yeah,
right.
1 year and 3 months, 15 months. Then also it depends, because being in Malaysia and our jerebu, so it it can disrupt our flight. So there's some a batch I remembered, they had to extend their flying course for 2 months, because do you guys remember last few years ago, the haze was really really bad. So about 1 or 2 months, yeah, especially in Malacca Straits. So yeah, that even can delay the course itself. But to be exact, it's 15 months. Mm-hmm.
And they teach you all sorts of scenarios. I mean, like flying through haze or dealing with emergencies, everything else. All of these things were obviously things which you had to undertake. Lah.
Yes, yeah. In fact, like night flying, and whereby we do fly instrument flying, which all airlines, that is what you call IFR,
Mhm.
instrument flight rating. Yeah, where but during flying school, what we do is we don't look outside. They will cover um, uh, our peripheral to see
Mhm.
the horizon. So we can only fly the aircraft without looking outside, but only using instruments. Yeah, because that is how airlines fly. We fly by instrument because up there, of course, there's no landmark, there's no terrain, and all being above 20,000 feet and all that. So we got to trust our instruments. We fly by our instruments.
Is
Mm-hmm.
is that what is meant by flying blind? Is that where the term comes from, or is that something else?
Okay, flying blind, nope, but it's called instrument flying to be
Okay,
exact. Yeah,
right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh, fascinating. Okay, so you finished pilot training. Incidentally, just out of interest, the other two girls who were there with you, did everybody graduate, or was there any sort of attrition, or were you the only one to graduate?
We graduate on time actually. Three of us, all of us actually. In my batch, there's about 20 of us. So three girls and 17 boys. So yeah, we graduate all averagely at the same time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can I
Okay.
ask something? Sorry, Zaire. Mona, when you before you went to MFA, before you applied to the RMAF, um, did anyone, your friends, your family, go, "You're crazy. This is not something a girl should be doing"?
Great
And if
point.
they did, what was your response to them?
Okay. My family, my friends are are all with me 100%. Especially my father. I'm so thankful that I have such a supportive family, really, to be honest, because I think they know I'm like I can take care of myself, and I know what I'm doing. And yeah, I'm such an ambitious young lady that time, so they allow me to do whatever I want as long as it in the right context. So teachers, my primary school and secondary school teachers, they did underestimate me. Yeah. And also yeah, couple of some other one or two people, they underestimated me. And yeah, they make fun, and they were like anti, being a female, being
Mhm.
go into a man's world. But me being me naturally, for me, all these negative things, I don't allow it to block my way or affect me at all. I will just go through it because it's my life. I know what I want. I'm doing it because I love it. Yeah, so just go for it. And yeah, all this negative, it didn't bother me actually. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
Makes perfect sense. So, Mona, we've reached the stage where you're now graduated, you're a pilot. So, from here, how do you, as Gopal neatly pointed out, break this male-dominated dominion? How do you go find a place, find an airline that accepts you as a captain or a first officer? What was that whole process like?
Okay. um Me being me again, being very ambitious, and I'm like I always aim high. Yeah. And right after graduating, not many people do this actually, but I mean, no harm. I applied even to Singapore Airlines. I applied to Cathay Pacific. I applied to Garuda. I applied to MAS back then. It was MAS, yeah. And then I applied to Thai Airways, because for me, I mean, no harm trying my luck. But yep, Cathay Pacific did get back to me. Singapore Airlines were very professional. They even called me that they said they weren't ready to take female pilots maybe in the future, which is their subsidiary Silk Air now and Tiger Air and all that. They do have female pilots now. But yeah, of course, there was during that time, MAS also got back to me quite late. Then they did explain why they are not ready to take in female pilots and all that. The only company that replied to me was back then is Transmile, which is now Raya Airways, and also yeah, AirAsia. Mm-hmm.
And how long did that process take? Was it like, 3 months before you managed to eventually land a position, or was it shorter than that?
All in all, I still remember it's about 5 to 6 months. Yep, to wait for the gap before I land for my first interview with Transmile and also AirAsia.
So what then happened? I mean, so you got an interview with AirAsia, and then how did it progress? How did you take up the flying role?
Okay, so all right. So between Transmile and AirAsia, and I took up, of course, I was deciding that time, being in a commercial airline or a cargo. So I chose to be in commercial airline, bringing flying passengers. So I did went to AirAsia and going through the interviews and some simulator check. And again, yep, they were quite skeptical because of my actually I'm quite petite, so yeah. But then they said, you know what, I think only for you, we would like to have you to have a simulator check. Sim check is whereby they make sure that I can carry out engine failure and whatever failures. Yeah, so they give me the worst scenario that time. But I guess it's just yep, I passed through the sim check, no problem. So they were happy with it. So yep, I started with AirAsia 2006, and then first officer, I was flying on the A320 as a
Okay.
co-pilot, yeah. And
Yeah.
then 2009, I've moved up to AirAsia X, flying the A330s and A340s, flying international route, I mean like a medium to long haul. And I was there and did some chartered flights with Saudi Airlines, and then I did some chartered flights with how to say, we JV, kind of JV with a special flight with Iran Air, flying to Baghdad and all that. Yep. So after that, 2011, I got promoted to become a captain at the age of 28 on
Wow.
the on the A320. And then from there, I was a captain all the way until our dear COVID-19 hits us,
Yes,
which
dear
is last
COVID-19.
year, June 2020. So yeah, I was being I mean it's obvious. Everyone knows that airlines nearly went, actually it did went paralyzed, especially last year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what was a lot of curtailment with airlines, laying off crews, ground crews, cabin crews, pilots and all that. Yeah. So
Going back
yep.
a little bit, sorry, going back
Yeah.
a little bit, Mona, just to your interview with AirAsia. Were they open to women becoming pilot as a matter of policy, or do you think it was sort of, oh, this is good PR for us?
I think it's more to giving chances to being open
Yeah,
to female pilots, because I mean, the CEO really believes in giving chances to everyone, and also he believed in why not female pilot, because I mean, half of that time, Emirates, Etihad, everyone is already having female pilot,
yeah,
but
yeah,
why Asian and Malaysia especially
yeah.
is not having one. Yeah.
And then the second question I have in for that time frame is, what was it like? I mean, once you got your wings, you got your uniform. I'm guessing they had to design a special uniform for you. What was it like the first time you walked into a crew room with other pilots?
Yeah.
Was there silence and pin drop silence?
Oh, yeah, of course, because yeah, being being the few first female pilot and entering the flight operations, I can still remember um it was welcoming, everyone welcome us, but still there's you can, especially for
Ada
a
tension
female.
lah. Ada
Yeah.
tension lah. To put it
you can
in to put it in
you
a Malaysian way, right?
yeah, ada macam alamak, ni
Uh,
mestinya apalah dia buat sendiri kan, things like that, but
okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry again, Sai.
No, not at all. No, I actually wanted to ask the same point, as in, especially if, let's say, when you're a captain and your first officer is a male, whether there's any kind of tension or everything seems okay and people are perfectly fine with it.
So far, I don't know. For me, fortunately, I had a great time from day one until my last day, last year, really. Because, but I know, out of all these people, I know, and I can still remember, there's just one, yeah, one guy who I think he's I maybe, women should stay at home kind of thing, yeah. So, but I mean, being a captain, so work is work, be professional. Yeah. So, because for me, I don't see any difference. I'm just here coming to work, carry out me as a captain, flying. Be professional in the cockpit. That's it. And I don't talk like all these sensitive issues, being talking about woman stuff to him. No, oh no, not at all. I'm just strictly flying. Yeah.
Okay. And was it difficult to transition between aircraft? Because you said like they switched you from 320s to 340s and things like that, right? So, I mean, is that a difficult process, or is the training fairly standardized? And obviously, you had no problems with it. Lah.
Okay, it's because I am flying on an Airbus. All right,
Mm.
Airbus aircraft, they have all the trainings and cockpit designed streamlined. Yeah, so the training from transition, it wasn't hard at all. It's just about getting used to it. Like, of course, being in a small aircraft, jumping over to a wide body, bigger aircraft, you have to get used to the characteristic of the aircraft, and also some, minor system or improvements and all that. Yeah.
Mm. So, as a passenger, Moana, the
Yeah.
only thing that a passenger looks for is a safe passage, a great trip, and no issues ever arising in a journey. Lah. So, in your case, have you ever had any really interesting incident or scenario that comes to mind, or something that really you remember until today during any one of your flights?
But I have to say that there's a lot of beautiful memories while I was working with AirAsia. Maybe incident like, I mean, not in I mean, that's not beautiful, but it's something that I learned, and beautiful in terms of, passengers coming in. They were quite surprised to see this. Oh, there's female flying. When you walk on the aero bridge, you can see the cockpit sometimes. Yeah,
Yes.
so they're like, oh, and some of them, they want to take pictures with me, and mostly kids, and some of young girls, they are inspired, I guess, to see me right there piloting the flight. And yeah, and it's such a beautiful memory. And I was featured also with in one of their blogs, some traveling blog guy and all that. Yeah, but incidents, like bad incidents, yeah, I do have one experience whereby I had a Middle Eastern guy. He was having a problem, and we tried to solving it. We tried to solve his problem, but he told my crew that he doesn't want to talk to any female female crew, and she said that I want to talk to the captain. So my crew said my captain is a female, and he get pissed off. Okay, so
Pada
he get
muka.
so he get even pissed off, you know. Then I said, okay, does he know I'm a female? He said, yeah, captain, yes. So now what? He said, does he still wants to talk to me? So, but I mean, for me as a captain, it's my responsible. He is my passenger. I need to talk to him and explain to him. So yeah, I was explaining something to him. Then he moved quietly to his chair, and yeah, we took off. Mm.
Well done. So you
So
resolved it nicely, lah, whatever it is.
yeah, because I understand some culture, you know, they do not, I mean, they do not prefer to talk to female, but
Mhm.
this time I think he has no choice. Yeah.
But I think what Zaire was getting at as well was sort of any emergencies, mid-flight emergencies that you've had to deal with.
Emergencies, yes. She was. It was from Kuala Lumpur to Langkawi. I still remember. It was the last flight out. I mean, the last leg. The last flight from Langkawi to KL. So I had a woman who turned blue. Yeah. So my cabin crew chimed me. Then that time, I declared. I told the ATC because that time I was so lucky enough. There was no traffic. I request everything was high speed, and I told the crew to get ready the cabin. Told the ATC make sure to get the ambulance ready on ground. So and then I told the crew to page for a doctor and all that. Yeah, other than that, it was all, but it was all went smoothly and everything. I made sure my crew are okay, passengers are okay, and make sure the lady itself, I think because she was having a heartburn, I think because she was pregnant that time. Yeah, so everything was smooth. Other than that, weather, severe weather, that is normal that I face, especially crossing the Bay of Bengal going to India. So yeah, I had one
So
very very
do you ever get scared in bad weather?
um nervous, yes, but scared, no, because I always have to tell myself I need to brace this because I have a co-pilot watching at me. So if I get scared, so you know, so you have to be confident. You have to be prepared every time. So I'm always prepared. You know, with those kind of severe weathers. I had a very bad air pocket where until my autopilot tripped off and everything was stripped off, everything when flying at the back. So yeah, that was quite scary. So yeah, it took me a few seconds to okay, okay, all right, you know. So yeah, that was scary. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. It's
Yeah.
been written that you've researched about the Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm, but you also did some very interesting flying between Baghdad, Tehran, and places in the Middle East like that. What was that whole experience like for you?
Okay, it's okay, it's I can say it's one of my most memorable moment as well. And I actually volunteered to do that flight
Mhm.
because it was a special flight. And then why I volunteered, because I was reading what was happening in Baghdad. Yeah, and what was happening in Baghdad during the desert storm and all that. So that time I volunteered, I went there. Of course, everything flashback of what I read back then. Yeah, again, I said I'm not fascinated with the war, but it's just, you know, the history of what happened there, what technology they used during that period of time. So when I actually operated in Baghdad, Iraq, that time also it's they call it level 7 rate warning, because suicide bombers are very still active around that time. But yeah, during that time, the US military is still there, but they are slowly moving out that time. But yeah, it was such I don't know how to say, a nostalgic, not nostalgic, but reliving what you read. You know, you step into the exact place what you have read, the history. Say, wow, I'm here. Yeah. Mm.
But what made you volunteer for it, and what sort of flights were you running between the countries? Was it like missions, or was it something which was a charitable flight, or what kind of flight did you undertake?
Okay, that time it was a chartered flight
Mhm.
for some oil and gas company. So they contract us with that time. Yes, there was a local company as well, and also some are from China, which they chartered us. It's like I think all of them at the back was all oil and gas contractors. Yeah, for oil and gas in Iraq that time. So, and why I volunteered for this flight despite the high risk and all that is because I've read about the country, and why not to fly into Baghdad, because it's a very very historic place, and just to challenge myself and see what just to experience it. Hmm.
Can I just ask as well, the Tehran leg, when you spoke to ATC in Tehran, did they go, hey, don't joke lah? Okay, can you put the pilot on, please?
Okay, um on the Iran, okay, on that side, Tehran side, it's fine, but maybe you should ask me how was my experience while I was living and flying in Saudi Arabia, which is
Yeah,
my
go on.
base,
Yeah,
Yeah, please tell
my
go
us.
on. Yeah.
my base in Jeddah. So okay, um, okay, I don't know whether should I say this. I don't know. Okay, but culture culture wise, yes, I understand. It's naturally. I mean, the whole world knows that naturally, especially in KSA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, they are a bit sensitive when it comes to even women driving, women going out alone, and what more, women flying. Okay, so yeah, okay. In Saudi, yes, I felt that I get discriminated with the people there. Yeah. So anything that for example, because that time I was a co-pilot, so normally, yeah, we had to assist the captains in it. That time I said, you know what, captain, I think you need to speak to them because they just don't want to listen to me, so so yeah, I can see there's discrimination, but now I'm not sure how they look at female, but
Yeah.
it's just it's a culture. Yeah.
So
Did
just
Mm-hmm.
to
they
follow up
take?
on that, sorry,
Sorry, sorry. Go
one
ahead.
last
Yeah,
thing.
Gopal.
When you're talking about these new places you fly to, one thing that I've always wanted to ask pilots is, you're going into a new airport for the first time. Is there any sense of nervousness, or is it just so well charted now? You just follow the books, follow the logs, and you're good to go.
If it's a normal general airport or a place where there is no high risk and no how to say big threats and all that, a threat when I said the surroundings, the terrain, and the elevation of the airport, and the characteristic of the weather around it, fine, it's fine. All of us will feel like, okay, just another airport. But yes, when it comes, I still remember it was my first training flight into Taipei. Taipei is known for its nasty wind, very very nasty. But I remembered also it was the first inaugural flight for AirAsia X, and the captain trusted me. And back then, yep, I was flying Azran. Back then, yeah, Azran Rani. So I still remember. I said, Mona, you take this sector down. You land in Taipei. She cakap, are you sure? I said, dia cakap, yeah, why not? Then okay, so yeah, it was. I think that time, if I were to wear this watch, I think that was already a warning with my, yeah, because the wind was so strong. It was really really gusty. But then again, I think I am very well trained. We are all the pilots are well trained what to do, how to handle aircraft with that. So yeah, when it comes to if you ask me, nervous, yes, of course, but you gotta stay focused. Yeah.
How did it go? You didn't finish the story yet. How was the landing?
Well, if I say, I mean, it comes to my surprise. That is where I learned, you know, good landing comes when you fly under pressure. So it was a good landing. So, because I mean, everyone, if you work a little bit under pressure, I think you will have that performance factor. You will perform. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good landing. It was a good landing.
Mona, you've really challenged the norm of being a woman in what is a fairly male-dominated industry. So you've become a sort of role model and an icon. Have you ever had people come up and tell you, "Wow, you're a pilot. We've read about you. We've heard about you. You're just like an inspiration to people."
Yes, I do actually. Even last time when my social media was open, not private, I get a lot of messages and approach, and even letters on my car. And because back then, during, I think, the first 5 years when I entered the airline industry, I think if you both also, Zahir and Gopal, if you just Google, my name, I think there is several media and also coverage on me. So yeah, but something I always tell the media, I always filter the questions first, because I am here not to macam, like, oh, woman can do it, No, I'm here because I love flying. And why should I do that as a woman? Because I mean, I believe everyone can do what they want to do if they want, things like that. There's no about being a female or male. So yeah, I'm always particular when it comes to interview, when they say, "How do you feel? You have been there and you've beat the man." I'm here not to beat the man, but it's just my own personal goal and my ambition. Yeah. So being a male dominator, I said, so far it has been a great journey, and yeah, this is my passion, flying. So this is it. Yeah.
Fantastic. There's this big talk, Moana, about how corporate boardrooms benefit from having women because they bring a certain level of thinking and empathy. What do you think you have brought as one of the first or pioneering women within the aviation industry to the aviation industry? Would you say it would be about the same thing?
It's almost the same thing, but probably we have the more maybe subtle approach into doing things. Yeah, we get things done the same way, like how the opposite sex does, but in a subtle way, maybe more empathy, more towards like maybe motherly. Yeah. So I think it's good to have a balance in every industry. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, we've come to this sad point in time of humanity with aviation and the pandemic, Mona. And we're now in the midst of this pandemic. It's almost 2 years in. How have you coped with it yourself? How do you feel about it? And essentially, what it has, in a way, taken away from you?
Okay. Yeah, even when you ask me this question, I have to say, um, of course, it affect me emotionally. Why? Is because it's my passion since young, and it's my passion since young to fly, and I've reached here. And when they announce, my name to be taken out from the system, so the first thing I felt was, um, like, I'm gonna miss the people I fly with, my co-pilots, the people I work with, because yeah, because I enjoy every time I fly, because like one of the captains said, and every one of us, if you have to work if you make your hobby as like as you're working, so it's like you're not working, you're enjoying your, you are enjoying every moment of it. So it affect me, but I'm the type, I always take things positively, very quick. I pick up myself very quick, because I do not like to, when you fall, yes, you can stay down there for about a few days, but you need to get up. Okay, what's next? Yeah. So for me, when they announce, I have to tell you something. Yes, on the first day, I did cry. I did cry for about 10-15 minutes. Then I'm okay, because the things that make it worse is because everyone, because aviation is so small. My colleagues in Hong Kong Airlines, Emirates, Etihad, Qatar, MAS, Malindo, everyone was texting me non-stop. I had to turn off my phone. Ona, is it true? Are you've been retrenched and all that? I said yes. Yes, God, no, 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 I cannot believe it. I said, you know what, you will believe it soon. Okay, it will be out. So yeah, how do I deal with this is that, and I really think if anyone listens to this podcast, please, you know you have to ask yourself, especially being a pilot, it doesn't mean that you have a license you can only fly, full stop. No, this is how I do it. All right. Okay, yes, I have SPM and flying license. I do not have a degree, but look where I am right now, because I ask myself, what are my soft skills? What are my other skills that I can do? Rediscover that, relearn, reskill yourself. Ask yourself, what can you do? What is your hobby? Make it into a monetary. What do you like? Then make it into monetary. So from that June 14th until today, I've been doing online courses, digital marketing. I'm trying to do studying on data analytics, and even I'm still thinking whether to take a degree in computer science and all that. So and I braced myself. I said, look, I've been retrenched. Maybe this is a good time for me to explore that what I can't explore back then while I was flying. So, okay, let's try to work as a call center. I did, but I only lasted for 2 months. Okay, because, all right, so I couldn't do that. Then I went to
Why could you only last 2 months?
maybe
Have to tell us, lah.
okay, maybe I'm used to, like, yes, I can handle tremendous pressure, but when it comes to human, you're shouting at you on the phone on a daily basis, because okay, being flying in the cockpit, no one yells at you. Okay, so it's quiet, it's serene, your mind works, it's so peaceful, but now I'm doing this work whereby customers complaining and using foul language every day. You know what, okay, I can't do this. I can't do this. Then yeah, so there's better opportunity after the call center, and actually and then with Dr. S, as a HR, I know everyone is like pilot, HR, but even the CO believes in that's one thing I respect about people who sees beyond being a pilot. Okay, what can she do, multitasking, managing and all that. So that's why even HR, but I don't just do this conventional HR work. I do get myself involved in their marketing team for ideas, their business development for ideas, things like that. So yeah, so and then I have another opportunity comes up to me, which is this few days ago. In fact, currently I'm with Polar Drone as a compliance manager. So things are getting closer to my skill set, as you go. But for me, don't give up. Don't ever feel let down. Like, I know it's gonna take quite some time for the aviation industry to get up back at least to the pre pandemic, but yeah, actually if you look closely within yourself, I think you can discover a lot of things. Just take this opportunity positively, learn new things, do new things, embrace the process. Yeah.
Fantastic. Mona,
Yeah.
just a couple of questions before we conclude. But
Yeah.
it's interesting you said you're a drone compliance officer. So that kind of takes little things into the air, right? So, what does your drone compliance officer job make you do right now?
All right. What I am here for? Okay, because the CEO did spoke to me about what he wanted, so it's like some sort of to get everything standardized and compliance with civil aviation Malaysia, which I am familiar with. So hence that's why they need my expertise from airlines, because it's some sort of a similar operation, but it's just in a smaller scale. But the process, workflow, concept, procedural wise, a strategy, I think it's almost the same. So it's just like copy and paste, put it into here, twitch it, amend it, and put it in a smaller scale on how it can work within this drone industry. But well, hey, drone industry is growing right now in Malaysia, so yeah, why not?
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, Gopal, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I've got a couple. Have you wrapped up, Zahir? Because I've got just a couple of questions I'd like to go back to. That's all right.
No, I was going to, but go ahead. Well, let's hear
Yeah,
them
okay.
out.
Yeah, you don't mind. I think I've got just sort of four broad areas, and I'll try to keep them short because of time. The first thing I'd like to ask you is, let's assume COVID sort of gets under control. It's not going to end.
Yeah.
And are you going to go back and fly?
um Generally, I have to say generally yes, because I do have my personal goals. Another personal goal, I think I'm just full of goals, I think. So yeah, it's just my personal goals that I would like to work with this one airline in Middle East. So yeah, actually about my sometimes about my plans, my plans, my love life, my final. I don't expose it that much, but as much I can say, yeah,
Yeah,
I will go back and I will work for it. Yeah.
I'm sure you
Mm-hmm.
will.
Yeah.
Second question I have is, you've obviously been passionate about flying since you were a child.
Yeah.
My question is, when you wake up and then have to have that 50-minute journey to Sepang, your pre-check-in procedures, another 1 hour or whatever, I mean, that's draggy. In that time, what do you say to yourself? This is why I want to do it. What's the one thing about flying that makes you willing to go through all those sacrifices?
Okay. I've been doing this for like what, nearly 16 years. Yeah,
Hmm.
16 years. One thing beautiful about being a pilot and this job is it will never get bored. Yeah. And every single day you fly with different people, you fly in a different condition, and it's just purely a passion that I look forward to every day. Yeah, even right now when I look up the sky, when I see all these aircraft flying, I still miss it. Yeah, even 16 coming up to 17 years now, I still looking forward for it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is not a matter that I have to tell myself, but it is in me, that it's still in me actually, to naturally I look forward. Okay, what's in me for today, okay, what's in me? Come give it to me, I'm ready to take the challenge and just go with the flow. Yeah.
So it sounds like a sort of mixed dynamic, the people on one side, the
Yes.
technical things on the other, the conditions. So
Yes.
it's a kind of mix.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Third area is, which aircraft are the ones you've flown do you like the best and why?
It must it has got to be A330, because of its the shape, of course, the aerodynamics of the 330, and the stability. And also, if you would ask me what aircraft I would like to fly next, actually, that is one of my personal goal that I mentioned. It is A350 1000. Yeah, and I wish that before I hang my wings, I would like to have that, to fly that as a captain on the
Okay.
A350. Yeah.
I have last question I have to ask you, and I ask you this against a backdrop of reading that the dynamics in the cockpit can play a very big part in terms of safety, the dynamics between the captain and the first officer. So my question to you is, when you were a first officer, did you ever turn around to your captain and say, "I think you're wrong"?
Um. Okay. Okay. This one is quite difficult because
I wouldn't
as
have
a
asked it if it wasn't difficult.
okay, because okay, being a co-pilot, we always have this the power distance thing. So, and
Yeah.
on top of that, being a female pilot, but for me, when it comes to the books and safety and procedure, you just have to, buat muka tebal lah. I cakap, Cap, I think that's wrong. Things like that. Yeah,
Brilliant.
you just have to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're following the book. It's not you being a diva. Kan captain cakap, apalah dia ni nak diva pula. So no, it's by the book, professional. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's being
Cool.
assertive, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I had, Zahir.
Thank you. Moana, I was going to actually ask you what your plans are for the future, and in a way, you've kind of spoken about it. You said that you're going to look forward towards joining a Middle East airline. So the point is that the good news is IATA has said that by 2023, 2024, airlines are going to come back to some level of regularity. So is that kind of the focus that you now have waiting towards 2023, or is there a short term or a long term plan for you?
Oh, definitely, it's gonna be long term. Yeah. But if you ask me this question, it will be short term.
Okay.
But if you ask me now, long term. Why? It's like lepas geram, because I miss flying so much, and it's just I told myself, you know what? Because to be honest, I wanted to become a housewife, yeah. And then because my husband is a pilot as well, so so I luckily he's understanding, yeah, being a female pilot, you must have one understanding man beside you. If not, okay. So yeah, it's a long term plan actually, if you ask me, and I really miss flying. And again, I'm gonna be myself, like how I am 16, 17, 18 years back. That drive, going for my goal, is the same tempo I'm gonna go.
And
i'm
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 sure
very
you're
committed.
gonna do it as
Yeah.
well.
I'm sure you will do it.
Hopefully,
And
hopefully, hopefully.
Moana, on behalf of Gopal, myself, and Bole, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for
Thank
sharing with us as candidly as you have all your views, your aspirations, some of the little pains which have taken you through to this fantastic journey. And we really wish you all the very best going forward.
thank you